So how many of you guys like mapo tofu? Today, instead of working with chili oil, we're gonna work with some doenjang. That earthy, funky, traditional Korean doenjang. Now doenjang, for those who are new to the neighborhood, is fermented soybean paste. Now you won't see this dish at restaurants a lot. This is more of a home dish. I particularly like to eat it when I know I need to eat more vegetables. Like lately I've been eating a lot of pizza with Katie, and so I want to feel healthy. So this is my go-to like healthy dish. You just pair it with some fresh lettuce wraps and it's amazing. This is kang, which means strong. Doenjang, strong doenjang, basically reduced. All right, neighbors, let's begin. I'm gonna go searching for a few things, including my tukbegi for plating. For broth today, I'm gonna use rice water. Start by rinsing your rice. During the first rinse, you'll throw this water out. After the second rinse, just give it a little stir and let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes. Afterwards, we'll save about 1 cup of this residual rice water. It has a lot of starch and it brings together all the flavors when it boils. Now, instead of this rice water, you can also use anchovy and kelp broth, or alternatively, veggie stock. All of them will work. Once you set aside the rice water, get the rice cooking. Now in Korea, we love to eat this gandoenjang with some lettuce, like lettuce wraps. So I got some sangchu here. Give it a nice wash. Give it a dog shake. Woof. Then we need 1 onion. Let's dice them up into small bits. The onions, they might seem like a lot, but once you start stir frying them, they shrink. And let's get a potato. This potato adds a lot of comfort in this stew. Potato is medium sized, about the size of my palm. Julienne them first, and then cubes. Then, my friends, pick a few mushrooms of your choice. I'm using pyogobazat or shiitake mushrooms. You can also use regular button mushrooms, anything will work. Cut these up into small pieces as well. And oh, let's go check in on our rice. If you give it a fluff up right after it's done cooking, tastes a lot better. Then we're gonna add some Korean chili peppers. Again, these are the Cheongyang chili peppers. Now, if you're very sensitive to spice, I would recommend that you just throw in 1 chili pepper rather than all 3. If you're cool, then use 2 or 3. And last but not least, we're gonna need some tofu. In the Korean mart, oftentimes you'll see jjigaeong, which is a little bit softer. It's for stews, or it says buchimyeong, which is for pan-fried. To be honest, you can go with both, but if you know how to read Korean, try to get the jjigaeong. Let's open it up. This one is 300 grams. We only need half a block, so it should be around 150 grams for today. And if you've been cooking along with us, you know how to store this back in the refrigerator. Just add a little bit of water. Cover this with plastic wrap, place it in the refrigerator, and since it's covered in water, it should stay fresh for another few days. And tofu, yes, is my all-time favorite thing to cut. We're gonna want this into like small cubes so it looks nice in the stew. And for any doenjang that's worth its money, you gotta have a little bit of garlic in it. Flame on, neighbors, let's work. About a medium flame. A touch of oil. Now, quick note, I purposely made this with all vegetables. If you want to make it a little bit more hearty, instead of stir frying the shiitake mushrooms, add in that minced beef, about 100 grams worth in the beginning. Stir fry it away, and of course the taste becomes better because then you get the juices from the meat as well. Let's get our beautiful mushrooms in. Stir fry that around. Woo, and you're gonna smell it in the air. You know that mushroom's gonna soak in all of that oil in the beginning, and then once it starts to cook, it's gonna start releasing its water. You see our guys are starting to sweat, a little glisten on their foreheads. Let's add in our onions, as well as our potatoes. I'm gonna just add a slight touch of oil, just to get all of these guys going. All right, and once the onions start to sweat, we're gonna take our rice water, and we're gonna measure around 2/3 cup. You can also use veggie stock here. Veggie stock works well. 2/3 cup of the water in. Then of course, we're gonna need some doenjang, 3 tablespoons worth. Doenjang is fermented soybean paste. Think about it as miso's older brother with a stronger punch. Second punch, boom, knockout, KO, KO. That rice water is gonna bring the doenjang along with the natural flavors from the vegetables together. And once that's broken down, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Mix that in. Then we need some gochujang. Need about ½ tablespoon's worth, give it a nice color. Nice. Then ½ a tablespoon of gochugaru, that's the chili flakes, but this is optional. We already added in the gochujang, which was the paste, but I like to add it because it makes it a little bit more red and gives it a little bit more kick. I like the fight. If for some reason you had your heat on like too high of a heat and it's reduced down too much, you can simply add in a little bit more of your rice water, no problem. This is another one of those fail-proof recipes. And then finally, we do need a little bit of sweetness. Here, if you have Korean meshil, that works even better. But I know a lot of people don't have meshil, which is the Korean plum extract. So you can use honey like me. Guys, we're gonna do half a tablespoon, put it in, mix it around. Now let's add in our tofu, and then of course our chili peppers. This is kind of looking like a ragu, huh? Mix that all up. Now I can see it's getting a little bit too reduced. I'm doing a lot of talking here in between shots. So I'm gonna use up the remaining 1/3 of the rice water. So I added 2/3 cup in the beginning, and now I think I added in addition about 1/3 cup. So 1 cup of water in total. Again, you can add more or less, just depends on you. So keep reducing it until those potatoes turn soft, and if it runs out of water, again, add a little bit more of that rice water or that veggie broth, and it keeps getting better and better and better. Whoo, guys, take a look at that. I think mine is done. Oh my gosh, that's the little mushroom on top. That's what we're gonna put on lettuce wraps. You can just eat it straight out of the wok, but I like to put it into a smaller tukbegi. You're gonna eat a whole garden with this. Let's get the heat back on. Add a little bit of water if you need. Let me get a scoop of this. Oh my goodness. And that is kan doenjang. You know, when I first tried it a little bit earlier, it was a little bit spicy, but as it cooks, that spiciness dies down. All right, Katie, hand out. Lettuce on, rice on. Yes, this is a team effort. Don't move, it's gonna get onto your thumbs. Okay.
And then just wrap it up like this, like a bowl.
Do you always have to do those exercises?
Yeah, because I'm worried that it's gonna fall.
Katie has this fear that her jaw is gonna...
This is exactly the kind of doenjang sambap I will get at restaurants.
You can eat it that way, I go... Skip the lettuce. That is a delicious spoonful of doenjang.